Oh my gosh, happy Stamptember! This is Caitlin. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing with Pink Main's Stamptember release with Simon Says Stamp. This is the Reindeer Kisses stamp set and it's absolutely adorable. I am not always ready to start holiday crafting this early, but I love this stamp set. I think these chunky little reindeer are so cute. I love their big old heads. So I'm going to be using them to make a really fun, non-traditional colored shaker card. So I'm starting out by stamping this reindeer and the mailbox and my sentiment onto some heavyweight white cardstock with my Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. And I'm using a heavier weight white cardstock. This one's Ice Rink from Pink Main, but I prefer a regular white cardstock for my Olo markers versus I use Copic Express It when I'm using my Copic sketch markers. I find that the Olos disperse ink a lot faster and it holds up better. My markers, like my blends, work better. The paper holds the ink better for me when I'm using a more heavier weight regular cardstock versus the Copic that has that little bit of slip to it. So I went for some very neutral browns for my little reindeer here, going in with those 07 family markers. And I did have to do some repeat blending over his face because it is a big space. He has that big round face. And I really wanted to keep the area where his eyes are nice and bright. But you can see I kind of worked my way back and forth between the medium and light colors to build it up to a blend that I was happy with. And that is something that I think the Olos handle really well. You can layer them really well. I kept with those O family markers, just the darker ones, the darker 7s for the antlers and the little hooves. And then I'm bringing in some BG teal markers for the scarf, and that's going to tie into the pattern paper and some of the shaker sequin pieces that we're going to be using. I also use the BGs to color in the snow on the top of the mailbox and on the ground. And to color in the pole, I'm coloring the whole thing as if it's going to stay like white or gray with the shading, but then we're going to come in with a one red color and just mark in those stripes so that I don't have to do all that extra blending. I'm going to give it a second to dry before we come in for that section. And I'm also making the main part of the mailbox red, the part that says Santa. And so originally when I was making this card, I wasn't going to add the red. Then I decided I wanted a pop of red. So I added the red to the mailbox and the little candy cane twist part to the stick, the pole, I guess. And I was like, oh, well, this will be fine. It'll stand out on its own, but it'll be good and it'll pop. But then at the end, you'll see I ended up coming back in the next day. I kind of just left it on my desk because I liked it, but I didn't love it. And so I added some extra red touches at the end that I think balance out that mailbox and like leveled it up a little bit. So I'm trimming down a piece of white cardstock now to be 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm also trimming down about 1.5 inches or maybe 2 inches wide on some brown coffee shop cardstock as well. And we're going to be dry embossing both of those. So the white panel got put through with a snowflake embossing folder and the brown went through with a wood grain. And I'm picking which of these arch dies I want to make my shaker hole with. I ended up going for this bigger one that still gives me a nice frame of pattern paper around the outer edges, but is going to let my reindeer and mailbox fit side by side without covering each other up. Now I'm trimming down that wood grain embossed panel and I'm adding it to the bottom. We're kind of making our own snow globe without needing snow globe dies, right? Like you can just take a circle or an arch that you might already have and add your own little wood grain rectangle to the bottom and turn this into a snow globe. So I'm adding some cut up packaging. I just took stamp packaging. I made it so that it was one layer. I separated the front from the back and I trimmed it down, and I'm adding it to the back of my panel here with my Tombow Mono adhesive. And then I'm adding some of that same adhesive to the back of my snowflake panel, and we're going to add it to my card base. And you can see that beautiful texture that that embossing folder gives. And then we're going to come in with foam, and we're going to make our shaker window. So I'm going to add foam to the very bottom, and then adding foam to the bottom of the arch. Then we're going to go all the way around the arch. And I wanted to make sure that my sequins weren't going to get lost or stuck all the way down there under that wood grain. There really wasn't a reason for them to go that far down. That's why I added that second layer of foam at the bottom, so it's still supported, but our actual shaker window is kind of contained. Then I'm going to come in with 2 different confetti sequins from Pink Main as well. The diamond and what are you? Aquamarine confetti. I still have them here on my desk. And I just added a good healthy pile of those to the area that they're going to stay on my white snowflake panel. Then I line up my foam taped arch panel and stick it down. And now we have a shaker. So because my shaker panel is popped up with foam, I didn't want to add any foam to my other characters. So I'm just going to be adding them with the tape runner as well. I attached my sentiment on the front kind of base part of our snow globe. I'm adding the reindeer and the mailbox. And at this point I was like, well, it needs something. It just needed something extra. So I'm going to come in with a quickie glue pen, and I'm just crazy. So I'm going for it. I added liquid glue to the antlers and the snow on the top of the mailbox, and I'm coming in with icicle or frost. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's ice rink icicle glitter, loose glitter, very fine loose glitter from Pink Main. I'll have it down in the description for you. And then so I just I sprinkled it on and then dusted it off, used a little brush to make sure anything that was sticking with static also came off. And now I'm going to come in with my glue bottle and add a very healthy line of glue to the top part of our wood cardstock, as well as some little dots on my acetate. And we're going to come back in this time with the chunky glitter. Ooh, I love this glitter. Also from Pink Main. It is beautiful, iridescent, chunky glitter. And that's going to give this beautiful frosted look to our snow globe. So now it looks like there's snow on our acetate sheet falling. We're also going to add some more glue and some of the diamond clear sequins as well. I like to do this for most shakers, adding a couple confetti pieces to the outside. Just make sure that no matter where things are on your card when you're shaking them up, that there's always some kind of all over, right? They can't just hide at the bottom. So at this point, I thought I was done. I put it on my desk and I walked away. And then the next day when I went to look at it, I was like, no, it needs some more red. So I grabbed one single confetti red sequin and then 2 of these little clay heart pieces. And I think having that little trio, right, 3 different places where the red is on our card balances out that accent color and took this, in my mind, from a 9 to a 10 out of 10. And you can see too how beautiful all of that loose glitter looks with the glue all dried clear. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please check out the limited edition STAMPtember stamp set from Pink Main with Simon Says Stamp. When they're gone, they're gone. So if you love these big old headed reindeers like I do, make sure that you go check them out and support them. And thank you so much for being here to hang out with me. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys back here very soon. Until next time, happy crafting.